Oh, wow. My computer talked to us. Okay.
Okay. All right. Hello, hello. It's Lauren and Lisa back again from Artist Moving. This time, podcast can be a little bit different because it's not going to be recorded live on Facebook as per usual because Lisa and I are taking a break. Haha. So this is being recorded early. So we thought a great question to ask would be, how do you take an art break when you are away from home? So, a lot of us might be traveling right now, or just spending more time outdoors if you live in a place where that's what you want to do, or just, changing your vibe up a little bit. So, you can take an art break outside your home, and we're here to tell you kind of how to do that today, give you a couple tips. So what do you do, Lisa? How do you take art breaks from home?
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, I love when I'm traveling wherever abroad or we're going to the picnic to the bluffs. I always bring like watercolors and a journal, and it's just really fun. While Don's playing his ukulele, I can just you can kind of record the moment with watercolors. So I do that. And then I found some ideas. I'll go through them to collect inspiration. I think there's number one, you can create, like, that's what I have, a little backpack that has just really simple supplies. So you can get that together pre. So when you're either on the dash or you're going on a road trip, you have that. And if you have kids, you can actually create a cool little box full of art games and art supplies that they can, have fun with. So what I thought was, when you're away, I think it's really important to find time to be alone. Right? Because we always think of the concept of when we're away on vacation, we have to be with everybody. But I think there's also that moment in time where you really kind of need to take time to be alone. And
you need a vacation from your vacation, right? Everybody.
Right? So I thought that's important. And when you do take time alone, you have new ideas, new creativity, new flow. It's almost like you're recharging yourself. So when you go back to the vacation with your kids or your friends or wherever, you can be charged up. And then I'll just go through these things that I found. Snap pictures, which we all do. I don't think everybody in this world snaps pictures.
I would add to that one when you say, because a lot of people are taking photographs of their vacation. I would challenge someone, and how do you turn this into an art break rather than taking a photograph to record something so that you kind of remember it, or so that it like marks, I did this, I'm standing in front of the Grand Canyon, let me just take this picture. I would challenge you to turn it into an art break and really photograph the part about it that is like kind of speaking to you.
Yeah.
Take your standard Grand Canyon photo. I think everybody can probably understand what I mean when I say standard Grand Canyon photo. I mean, take it because you do want that family photo or your selfie or whatever it is, but then take 5 to 10 minutes to really wander in your mind and body through the Grand Canyon and find that photograph that speaks to you in a different way. That's not about necessarily recording the scrapbook moment for your own memory, but recording the feeling of what it feels like to be there.
I love that. I love that because then you get to really know the place. You get to know the energy of the place. Because I think what we tend to do if we're on our vacations, we go to the spot, we take it, and then we run away. we don't absorb it. Like, that's why I love to do art in spaces, because you kind of sit down, you absorb the art, you can observe things. So I love that idea. It's like you can really find the energy of the Grand Canyon and how it's such a awesome, spectacular, amazing place.
Well, I had this experience when I saw the Sistine Chapel for the first time, and I mean, that blew my mind. And at the time, I'm not sure if you're allowed to take photographs. It might have been no flash photography at the time, but they were very particular about how you could photograph it.
Yeah.
much so that you felt limited how to do it, and so crowded that
and then they always do kayate, kayate. You're like, what? It's coming from above.
Right. And you were forced to create that memory not through photography. You sat there and you experienced the Sistine Chapel. I mean, and I feel like you absorbed it in a different way. And I think you can do that anywhere. You don't have to be in some check off your bucket list kind of place. You can be having a picnic on your Saturday afternoon and give yourself 5 minutes to absorb it, not just click the shutter to record that you were there, but absorb it as a human, as a being, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Really connecting to the space, really connecting to nature, really connecting to the energy of it. I mean, I think that's beautiful, because that's for me, that's the way to travel, on some level. Because I think to take an art break is a form of travel on some level,
Yeah.
It's an inward. The other one I had is keep a journal, which is kind of the same thing. Say you are in wherever, the Grand Canyon, a picnic. What if you just take some notes about, I think, or draw on it.
Yeah, we do that with this a friend of mine gave me this idea when her kids are older than mine, so she would get them notebooks and a pen and turn them into naturalists,
Oh, I love that.
out and so rather than because everybody has that experience with their children where they're bored, rather than pull something else out, they had their notebook and they would draw what they saw, or they would write it. So we do that. We piggybacked on that idea, and we each have our notebooks. And
I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's almost like that piggyback. I love when I travel to places to write a postcard to myself.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Right?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
I still haven't received the ones from Egypt, though. I'm like, okay, that's 2 years, 3 years ago. I don't know what happened to them, but most of the time I received them, and it's awesome.
Someone else got them, and it was awesome.
Sometimes I send them to my cats, but we'll see. The other one that I love was taking tours. If you have that opportunity, that's really creative to get another perception. I think there's so many in national parks. There's so many skilled professionals that really can give you a new perception of where you're at, which is so cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's kind of it's an experience of opening your mind, right?
Yeah, it's like perception. And I don't know if you've ever gone to like a place that like you didn't really understand. Say it's a Native American sacred site, and you really kind of know what it is, but you don't. And then you have an expert or somebody who knows what it is, and you're like, oh wow, and then you can really connect with it also. So that's a beautiful.
Yeah, so that's cool. Okay, so what you could do, if you could like be there and either make a mental note or make a note in your journal that you're taking with you about what you're drawn to visually or emotionally at this site where you are, and then go on that tour and then do it again and kind of see if you're drawn to something new or drawn to the same thing in a different way because of what you've learned. It's sort of like I used to do this in museums. I didn't like to know the title of the artwork before I saw the artwork, because I wanted to know what the title would do to my psychosis around the artwork, right? So you walk up to a painting, you experience it, and then you read the title and the artist's statement about it, and your experience is different because you're influenced by, words are influential, right? They're their own artwork in itself. So
yeah, I love that you use the word drawn. It's like draw on, you know what I mean? Like you're drawing, and that's taking an art break, but it's also like maybe it is a physical action. You're like I'm drawn to something. Like you're drawing, like you are the dot that becomes the line as you're drawn to, to a petroglyph or something. I think that's really cool. The other thing is ask questions. Ask questions, especially if you're with a group of people, a family. What if you, start kind of asking the inquiry? Ask questions where you're at. Embracing the experience is another important. I think that's a full circle. We keep on really talking about that. What else do I have? I did the art box and the art backpack, but I think also have fun and create like that bucket list, especially if you're in a car for a long time. It's really cool for family members or friends to create like this creative bucket list of what you want to see, what you want to do in the world. Those are some beautiful
Love that.
ideas.
Yeah. So yeah, when if you're in the car for a long period of time, some fun breaks you can do that just involve driving in a window are, you can search for the rainbow. We do that a lot, where you start at the top of the rainbow, you look for something that's the color red, and then you look for something that's the color orange, and it's sort of like a seek and find game. And then obviously you can have art supplies in the car, and the people who are not on driving duty can sketch away or write letters or, find things outside the window to write about, draw about, collage about, things like that. And then you can also just make up stories, look for something outside your window that inspires a subject matter for a new story, and everybody can contribute to the story as they feel inspired to do so. So that's another kind of in the car art break.
Two things come to mind. I love hawks. So when I'm on a road trip, I always like, oh my God, there's a hawk. That's always kind of like like everybody look at the hawk, find the hawk, or you got to find a hawk. The other one is that movie with Pooh Bear. It was so cute. I think it was Christopher Robinson. It was the latest one, maybe. But Pooh Bear, what he does is he's traveling on the train. He'll like point out tree. You know what I mean? Bush.
Like I related to that scene like more than a human should, because I was like, someone knows what it's like to be me. Because totally like tree, train, cow.
I embrace that a lot. Yeah. Any other ideas? I mean, there's so much fun you can do. I just think that if you have some time, do some preparation and get some stuff together, or have some fun and do spontaneous organic things.
I mean, if you're the type of person that can wants to go all out with it, I would totally say make that art break backpack for either your family, yourself, or every person in your group. And then if you're not there yet, then just use your mind and your eyes and your breath to kind of I would challenge you to turn your experience into an art break. Like ask yourself that question when you're standing somewhere. Ask yourself, how can I have an art break here? And so like if it's at the beach, maybe you draw in the sand. Maybe you stack rocks. If you're meeting your family at a park for an afternoon barbecue, maybe it's with food. Maybe you make art with, maybe you kind of write a play together. It doesn't mean you have to perform it. You don't have to get that silly, but you could, come up with a story together around the barbecue grill. It's really, and you and I talk about this a lot, it's a mind shift. You just have to shift your mind and you will experience things in a wholly different way.
But I think we also always say this too, especially when you do a community art break or a gathering art break if you get to know the person, like I think the best way to get to know a person is by making art with them. And the best way to get to know your kid or even like a stranger that you're gathering with is to make art with. And that's amazing art. It's an icebreaker too. Like say you're at a gathering right now, because I think California opens today with no COVID restrictions. So there's got to be some anxiety also. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are it's called what's it called? It's called opening anxiety. It's actually a thing that I'm doing. I'm doing a toolkit for the American associations for the COVID relief team. I'm doing a toolkit.
Good for you.
About an art toolkit. But so say you're at a gathering, and the best way to get to know somebody is making art together. Have a little pad and pencil, and if you kind of get to know the person and draw together or something. I mean, that's
Yeah. So, right. If you're do that pass the drawing game when you're sitting next to someone, or play it, or if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, just play a word game. Do a thing where you make a sentence together. Right, that's Exquisite Corpse. That's how it started, right? Where each person says a word and you make a sentence together. And in no time, you guys will both feel silly, goofy, and the barriers will have fallen. Yeah, I mean, I myself definitely have opening anxiety because I'm just like, yeah, so why wouldn't I have opening anxiety? Ugh, something, not being able to control something. I mean, that's something.
yeah.
So, yeah, I can definitely, and for, when I enter a situation, viewing it in itself as an artwork, it's a lot easier to process it mentally and emotionally. So if
That's great. Yeah, that could even be when you're going to because I don't know, because I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm not sure, do I have to wear a mask? You know what I mean? So there's all this like thought that could be an art.
Here's a tip, right? If you're feeling anxiety and you're right, like, so you might be taking a road trip to new places and they'll have totally different restrictions. View it as improv and be like,
there you go.
What it is, like, literally, is that you have to improvise because you have no idea what's going on. And so rather than feeling anxiety because you're feeling unprepared, treat it like you're at an improv class and you're just at the ready for anything that's coming towards you, and try to make everything you experience silly rather than devastatingly like anxiety inducing, if that makes sense.
That's super creative. I mean, yeah, I have a amazing July, because this is typically the time that people do take their vacations. It's just kind of like general, and get creative. I think I love that. I love, as you say, it's like if we look at life like it is an improv in a very like light, playful way, instead of like, because we are exiting something that was really intense. And yeah. So they say that especially when the pause happens, people don't know how traumatized they are, but once they just, it's not, you're just doing something else, and you'll be like, oh, whoa, I'm getting stressed out because I don't know what to do, or I don't know the protocol. But I think you're right. If you look at July as basically taking an art break, like an improv class, life will be fun.
Yeah. Try to find the silly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, turn it into an art break and have a great time. Have a wonderful July, and yeah. If you want to end,
I love that quote that says, life is a blank canvas, so create your masterpiece. So I think that would be a beautiful philosophy to work with.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. See. How come I can't do this? I want to stop recording. Okay.